Create Art Podcast. Project NaPoWriMo, otherwise known as National Poetry Writing Month. Hello friends, this is Timothy Chemo Bryan, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast, where I bring my 20 plus years of experience in the arts and education world to help you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. So this month is National Poetry Writing Month. Happens every April. And National Poetry Writing Month is known as NaPoWriMo, and it's a creative writing project. And what they do is they give you prompts. If you go to the NaPoWriMo website at napowrimo.net, and they'll give you 30 prompts for the 30 days in April. Now, on the website, you can also interact with other people. This year is going to be different from the previous years that I've done this project. This year, I'm going to be writing poetry throughout the year, and I am following a different prompt than the one that the National Poetry Writing Month folks do. Now, I've been doing poetry since 1988. I know for a lot of people here, they're like, whoa, the 1900s. But I've been doing it for a long time. I've been writing poetry for a long time and performing my poetry. So this year, like I said, I'm going to be writing all throughout the year. And the blog that I'm using is called Think Written. And the links for that will be in the show notes. I'm also going to be performing these works at Katura Coffee House here in Fredericksburg, Virginia on their Friday night Snaps open mic poetry reading. You'll have a link for that again in the show notes. And a lot of people, they ask me, hey, Tim, why do you do this to yourself every year? And my answer to that is, if I'm going to ask you to be, taming your inner critic and creating things, then I need to be doing it too, right alongside you. So that's why this year I'm doing it a little bit different, but I will be interacting with the poets there on the NaPoWriMo site. And we'll see how this goes. I'm pretty excited to be doing it this way. So today's prompt, initially I thought, oh man, this is going to be tough. But it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The challenge is to write your own index poem. You can start with a found language from an actual index, or you can invent an index. The actual index I used is from It's Not All in Your Head by Patricia Farrell. And I will have that link to the book in the show notes. Highly recommended if you know somebody with MS. This one's entitled Indexing a Diagnosis. Multiple sclerosis. Acceptance, 43 through 46. But I was 48 when I finally got the diagnosis, and even today, I don't fully accept it. And for sure, when I was 43 to 46, I sure as fuck didn't. So, who was supposed to tell me to accept it when there was nothing to accept? Anger, 10 through 11. Let me tell you, I have been angry for more than those 2 years. I have been angry at this insidious condition for what feels like a lifetime. And I don't think at 10 or 11 I was that angry. Anxiety, 71 through 96. Oh, great. I have that to look forward to. At least I'll live to be 96. But then how does this book know that? Oh, wait, it's the level of anxiety on a 100-point scale. Well, that seems about right. Each and every day that ends with a Y. Attitude, 197 through 198. I don't have one. I'm just frustrated with people's ignorance and bullshit. If you want attitude, I'll give you attitude. Bike rides, 196 through 197. Yes, I have a stationary one in my man cave. It's great for collecting dust, for hanging clothes, for looking like I care for my body. Children, 57 through 59. Every prayer I say to a God I don't believe in or recognize is that they don't get this. And if they do, then what I will do to the gods that allowed this. Cognitive impairment, 3 through 5, 64 through 66. Are you talking about the time I was pouring beers for the sperm donor's party when he wanted to be an elected official? Or are you talking about all the cigarette smoke I inhaled because it wasn't the right time to quit? Or are you talking about how many times I have to reread a line to remember that I read that line? CNS components, 6 through 10. Is that a new Canadian free streaming service? Will they teach us Americans the correct way to make Putin? Or play hockey? Or just be nice? No? How about a Canadian stereo system? No? Well, I know what a CNC lathe is. Am I close? Coping strategies, 173 through 199. I thought I knew how to cope, but now I want this tattooed to my chest, written backwards so I can read it in the mirror, and when I take off my shirt, people can ask me what is carved there. Humor. It's a hell of a drug. All right, so that was my poem for this day for National Poetry Writing Month. I hope you enjoyed it. You can go right to the website, createartpodcast.com, and you can go ahead and comment right there in the comment section if you like. Now, something I'd like to ask you is, if you enjoyed it, shoot me an email. Timothy@createartpodcast.com. I want to hear about your journey, and I want to hear about what you're working on. And if you'd like to be on the show or, would like to discuss a topic that's giving you trouble, well, then go ahead and email me. Let's start that conversation. I also want to let you know about another podcast that I do, and that one is called Find a Podcast About, and that's where I help you find your next binge-worthy podcast and outsmart that algorithm. You can find that podcast at findapodcastabout.xyz. Last thing I'd like to say here is if you found value in the show, let me know. Pass it on to a friend. If you have ideas on what I could do better to make this a 5-star podcast, I want to hear about those too. I want to be helping you with your art, to be bold with your art, as I do it right beside you. I'll see you next time.